So module 2 is about the PN junction. The, in the module 1, we have discussed about the semiconductors. Is it audible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So module 1, we have discussed about semiconductors. So what is semiconductor? How actually it happens inside it, and how we can extract the voltage by using a single layer, either by taking p-type slab or n-type slab, and analyzing the Hall effect. All those things we have studied, and also how an electron concentration, hole concentration can be found out. All those things we have studied. So here in this PN junction, we are going to study basically about the PN junction. That is a diode. So you already know what is PN junction, how it is going to work. You have studied in the first module of basic electronics itself. You have studied how the diode is going to work or PN junction is going to work. That you know. But here in electronic devices, we are going to study in detail. So we'll not just tell it is connected positive to positive, negative to negative. So that is forward bias. If you connect in a reverse manner, it will be reverse bias. We are not in that level now. We are going to still deeper level. Okay, we are going to still deeper level, and we are going to analyze what will happen at that, because we should know uh, what are the different applications. What are what are the different applications we need to know, the application of PN junction, all those things. To know the application of the PN junction, we should know how actually it works. When you know the pin-to-pin detail of a particular device or a material, then you can analyze, or then you can plan how we can extract this for different type of application. How I can make an LED, how I can make a photodiode, how I can make a photocoupler. That we can think later on. Okay, so but we should know happens inside it, because every time you see already diode is with us, we have to now think on how we can improvise its efficiency. Okay, so our work is that one. Wherever you go, everything is improvisation. So there is no discovery, there is only improvisation. That is why we call it as research. So already it is there, we are going to search it still more properly, and we are going to find out the uh, more convenient and more detailed and exact information, and we will try to get more efficiency out of it. In this part, PN junction, the first topic is forward and reverse bias junction. So here, for your convenience, I have given it in a form of a table. It is not given in the form of a table in textbook. So it is given in para wise. They have mixed up everything. So just for your convenience, just while studying and also while writing in examination, you should have some clarity. So that's why I have separated everything. I have written like this. So here, first thing, what we take is, okay. So here, the first one is the diagram. We have written the diagram of a forward bias junction. So can you tell me what is the difference between a PN junction and a diode? Are they same? If they are same, why we call it as a diode? You would have kept the name as PN junction only, no? How diode is changed, or how a diode is little bit changed from a PN junction? There is small change. What is that small change? Hmm? PN junction and diode. Is there any change? Or both are exactly same? I want the reply. Simply sitting
So
in my
PN junction is the two
Hmm.
parts of a diode.
Okay. Okay. Two parts of a diode. Okay. To make a diode, what you are going to do? Hey, when you are telling it's a two part of a diode, we can call it as PN junction only. No, why you call it as PN diode or diode?
So diode is anything that has two terminals, any semiconductor device.
Or any semiconductor device which has two terminals. That
Yes.
means uh, I take an in layer and I'll make two terminals. Oh, this is a diode.
No, sir, it should be able to conduct electricity also.
It should be able to conduct electricity also. Okay, so in this the charges will not flow in N type. In Hall effect, we have taken a single type of slab, and we are able to get the Hall voltage. And we have discussed that the current Ix is going to flow through it. In Hall effect, whether we have taken a single slab or dual slab like P layer, N layer, both of them we have attached and we have done like that. Yes,
Yes,
open
sir.
up your mouth. Hmm?
Single slab.
Single slab. So there also we are telling the current is flowing, right? Ix. Hmm? No issues. So here the difference why if you take P layer and N layer and you are going to sandwich here. I mean it is kind of a sandwiching only, no? So between these two you are going to P and N layer, you are going to connect it here. This is the junction so formed because of the combination of P and N layer is known as PN junction. To this PN junction, if you are going to have the metallic threads, that forms a diode. Okay, that forms a diode. That is the simple difference between a PN junction and a diode. Di means two. Okay, diode. So when you are going to have these two terminals, metallic threads, that forms a diode. Okay, this is a simple difference. Many of them don't know. Simply, we will be telling PN junction, PN junction. PN junction means the junction which is formed by P and N layer. Diode means after forming this PN junction, after inserting these threads, the device, the component which is formed, no, that is diode. Okay, that's why we call it as PN. That's why we call PN diode. Okay, that's why we call PN diode, because later on we have different types of the diode, Schottky diode, all those things will come in the next semesters, or in your power electronics, you might have already started studying. So now coming to this, so whenever if this question is asked, explain forward and reverse bias junction, I have made it as a column for your significance. Even in the notes also, I will give like this only. But while writing in examination, if they are asking it as a difference between or compare, if they are asking like that, you make a column and write. If they are asking explain forward and reverse bias junction, then make this itself as a points. Okay, point number one, point number two, like that. The first thing is symbol. First thing is diagram you have to write. When P, this is anode, positive, this is cathode. So when positive is connected to the positive terminal of the battery and negative is connected to the negative, the cathode is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, we call it as PN junction is forward biased or diode is forward biased. When a reverse connection is done, that is positive terminal of the diode is connected to the negative terminal of the battery and negative terminal of the diode, that is cathode, is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, then we call it as reverse bias. So in forward bias, what happens? All the electrons, they start flowing towards the, if I take this as PN junction, so this is the depletion layer or a junction which is found between P and N layer or separation. So at this particular point, we'll be having positive, and at this particular point, we'll be having negative voltage. When negative voltage is there, the N layer, since the majority charge carriers in N layer is electron and minority charge carriers are hole, the reverse thing will be there in the P layer. Majority charge carriers will be hole and minority charge carriers will be electron. Since electrons are said to be negative charge carriers and holes are said to be positive charge carriers, what happens? All these electrons, they repel from this potential and they start moving towards this. The same way, all the hole, they start moving towards this. But in order to do this, the voltage whatever you are applying here, this is very, very important. So the voltage what we are applying from the battery, that voltage should be greater than the voltage which is across this junction. Okay, I'll talk more about this in the next topic, but as of now, forward bias means external voltage which is applied across the PN diode for reducing the potential barrier. The voltage across the junction is being reduced when you apply the battery voltage. Because of this, what happens? There will be easy flow of current through it. Okay, that is forward bias. And the other one is the reverse one. External voltage which is applied across the PN junction for strengthening the potential barrier. Strengthening the potential barrier means the voltage whatever we are having across this separation or the junction. The junction or separation, other name for separation is a barrier, right? So this barrier will be having a voltage. That voltage is known as potential barrier. So now strengthening, strengthening, that means it is going to increase the potential barrier. That means the voltage across the barrier is further increasing instead of decreasing, it is further increasing. So when it is further increasing, during that time what happens? The current, this is going to prevent the flow of current, because it will be difficult to overcome that barrier potential for the current to pass through the junction. So it is going to strengthen the potential barrier. Here it is going to reduce the potential barrier. Connection, we already know that positive to positive, negative to negative. No need of repeating the same thing. Barrier potential, here in the forward biasing, barrier potential means voltage across the junction or the separation between P and N. There is a separation, no, that has some voltage. That that voltage is going to reduce. On the other end, the potential barrier is going to strengthen. That means it is going to increase. Voltage. Voltage of the anode is greater than cathode because the positives and anode is connected to the positive terminal and cathode is connected to the negative terminal. But on the other side, since anode is connected to the negative terminal and cathode is connected to the positive terminal, the voltage of the cathode will be greater than anode. And coming to the forward current will be obviously more in forward bias junction, and small, or we even call it as a reverse saturation current in reverse bias condition. Depletion layer, depletion layer will be very thin in forward bias condition, and it will be thick more in the reverse bias condition. Resistance will be low in forward bias condition, so it will be in terms of ohms. Okay, it will be just in terms of ohms. This is one of the viva question that can be asked in the lab for clipper and clamper. They'll ask you what is the forward resistance of the diode which you are using. So usually the diodes whatever we are using in our lab, it is having a forward resistance of around 10 ohm. Okay, it is not 10 kilo, it is 10 ohm. But when it comes to the resistance of reverse bias, it will be always in terms of mega ohm. That's why it will not allow the current to pass through it. Okay, so resistance of reverse bias condition will be very high, it will be in terms of mega ohm, but this will be very low, it will be in terms of ohms, 10 ohm, 20 ohm, 50 ohm, like that. Only it will be in terms of ohms, no kilo, no mega, like that. So current flows, yes, current flow is allowed in forward biasing, there it is prevented. Magnitude of the current. So magnitude of the current, it depends upon the forward voltage, what kind of voltage you are applying. There the magnitude of the there is no forward current only, there is no current only, so that's why we consider it to be zero. So magnitude means what? Value, how much, the quantity you are having. So magnitude, it depends upon the voltage. If you apply more voltage, more current. If you apply less voltage, less current. So it depends upon the forward voltage what you are applying from the battery. But in the reverse biasing, it is zero because it is reverse bias condition. So there is no question of flow of current because the barrier potential will be high and the depletion layer will be very thick. And operation. So usually it operates like forward bias condition of a PN junction. It acts like a conductor. Reverse bias condition, it acts like an insulator. Conductor means which allows the current to pass through it. Insulator means which opposes the current to pass through it. Okay. So these are the important points which you need to highlight if this question is being asked. This is the first topic of this particular chapter. After this, the next one is the qualitative description of current flow at a junction. Okay, so qualitative description of a current flow of a junction. So here we are going to study about the effects of bias at PN junction, transition region width, electric field, electrostatic potential, energy band diagram, particle flow, current direction within the width of the depletion layer, and what happens at equilibrium, what happens at forward bias, what happens at reverse bias. So these are the three things we have considered. Equilibrium means whenever we are not going to connect any external supply. That means we are not going to bias the diode. So when you have not biased a diode, during that time it will be under equilibrium condition. So under equilibrium condition, what happens? That we are going to study first. After that, forward bias. After that, reverse bias. So here, uh, I think I have told many times. I don't remember, but I just want to clarify it once. Since we are talking about PN junction, in next upcoming modules, we'll go still deeper into the topics. So you should know. See, let us consider, to understand the concept of semiconductor, let us consider the classroom. Okay, so classroom with our classroom. Okay, you're all sitting in the classroom, on the desk, on the chair or the desk, you are sitting. So this is the semiconductor. In this, you're all electrons. The seats which you are sitting are all holes. On the holes, all of your all the electrons are occupied. That means you're all electrons, and the seats are the holes. You're sitting. So I'll be entering into the class, and I'll tell someone who is sitting at the last bench. You yourself come and sit in the first bench. Okay. Now I'll be acting like external force. That external force is the battery which we require. Why we require battery? Because to already electrons are present, but we need to initiate some movement. We need to initiate some conduction. See, there is, even though you will pass out of engineering, you'll be having doubt. Someone will ask you, from where does the electrons? I have asked, uh, in the final vivas and in one of the interviews also, where I was invited as a technical, for a technical panel. I've asked, from where does the electrons come to the PN junction? They told, from the battery the electron will come. See, from the battery nothing will come. Battery is just a source of energy. Electrons are already present in p layer and n layer. Electrons and holes are already present. The same thing is going to move around the circuit. That's why we need a closed path. That's why we need a positive and negative. So from one side it will go, and in other side it will come back. It loses its energy, and by using that energy, our device is going to work, and it is going to come back. And again, our battery is going to supply energy to that charge carrier, and again it is going to flow through that particular device. That's why we call these electrons and holes as charge carriers. They are charge carriers. They're just like our parcel vehicles, where we parcel the goods. Energy is supplied by our battery, and from that energy is being carried by this charge carrier. They are going to lose that charge in the device or in the application where we are going to make the current to flow through, and afterwards it is going to come back to the battery again it is going to be filled up with energy, again it will go to the device. This is what the charge carrier. So neither the electrons or holes cannot be created here. Okay, already they are present in the material. The same thing is going to repeat. There will be no increase or decrease, just there will be excitation. How much you are going to excite them, whether you are able to excite all the charge carriers or you are able to excite only few charge carriers, that is depending upon how much voltage you are going to apply at the battery level. Okay, coming back to the example which I was giving. Yeah, I'm the force. I'll come and tell someone, come and sit. So this is your classroom. These are all the benches. These are all the benches. I came into the class and I told the person who is sitting here to come and sit here. He can come and sit here only when this particular seat is vacant. But if this seat is already occupied by some person, then this person cannot come and sit here. Okay. In the same way, electrons can move only when there is a vacancy. If there is a hole, then only the electron can go and occupy that hole. Hole is always a vacancy. Electron is the one which is going to occupy that particular vacancy. So then I'll tell him, already it is occupied. Then I'll tell, come and sit here since it is empty. He will come and sit here. During that time, what happens? This particular seat becomes vacant. Do you tell that this seat is occupied now and this seat is empty. Now, can anyone unmute and tell, are you telling that the seat has moved to the last bench or the person has moved to the front bench or both?
So the person has moved.
Person has moved. What about the seat?
Seat is at the same place.
It's at the same place. But when you see it, the seat which was present at the in the first row, it is in the last row, right?
So,
The seat which was empty here, now that seat is empty here.
so that's because the person has moved.
Person has moved. That means because of the movement of electron, that is your all electron, because of the movement of electron, the seat's vacancy position can be changed, but that hole is not moving. Here you cannot tell the seat has moved from first to last, but it looks like it has moved. This kind of illusion creates hole current. Okay, as we already know that holes are immobile charge carriers. They're immobile, they cannot move. They cannot move, but they appears to be moving because of the change in the position of the electrons. That's why we need both the for the conduction process we need both electrons and holes. So even that's why we tell, if I take p layer also, it has majority charge carriers as holes, minority charge carriers as electron, and that is the reason we do doping, because we want to increase the conduction process. If you are not having sufficient holes in n layer, then the electron cannot move, or if you don't have sufficient electrons in p layer, then again the whole displacement cannot happen. Okay, so that is the concept of electrons and holes. So coming to our first case, that is equilibrium. So in the equilibrium, what happens is, here initially the width of the depletion layer will be W. It will be W, that much width will be there. I don't think I need to explain it, how actually depletion layer is obtained, all those things, because you already know since your PU level. In PU also you have studied, in again in the first year basic electronics you have studied. So you know how initially the depletion layer is produced. Separation of P layer and N layer happens. Because of that, a junction is formed. That junction is known as depletion layer. Okay, now my question is, here in the depletion layer, we are going to tell, you have heard, no, for germanium you have 0.3 volt, for silicon you have 0.7 volt across that junction, you have 0.3 and 0.7. You take any you take a silicon diode. Okay, you take a silicon diode. When you come to lab, you can check. Take a silicon diode, take a multimeter. Okay, keep it in volt mode, voltage mode, and if you measure without connecting any power supply, if you measure the voltmeter, and I'm telling this is silicon, the voltmeter will be showing you 0.7. If it is a germanium, the voltmeter will be showing you 0.3 volt. Okay, now my question is, from where did this 0.3, 0.7 came? I'm not connecting any battery. See, here it is open. You can see here it is open. No battery is connected. But still, the junction is showing you 0.3, 0.7. From where did this 0.3, 0.7 came? Can anyone try to answer this question? Make an attempt. Then I'll explain how it is.
So it's semiconductor, so PN layer.
Okay.
So if it's silicon, if it's a silicon material, it will have zero point 0.7. If it's germanium,
Yeah, that is
0.3.
fine. That we know that. German 0.3, 0.7. I'm asking you, how did it came? That 0.7, 0.3 came. We know germanium, silicon values that much. That is fine. I'm asking the root cause of it.
So for breaking the
So it's the barrier
depletion region.
potential.
Barrier potential. See, it is a barrier potential, cut in voltage, knee voltage, drop in voltage, diode drop in voltage. Everything is fine. I'm asking from where it came or how it appeared. There should
We
be
are
some
combining P and N
So due to
layers.
the movement of the electron.
movement of electron. Okay. But we have not connected the battery. From where do you have movement?
So there'll be a small movement, so even if
No.
it's not connected, because
Hmm.
this side electrons are there and that side the holes are there.
Okay.
So there'll be a small movement which causes the depletion region and the barrier potential.
Okay. So, okay, that is fine. Small movement of charges. It will not increase.
Sir?
Will it not increase?
No, sir, because after a certain point,
Hmm.
the barrier region will have only neutral charges, so there won't be any place to move.
Okay. Okay, current is there. From where you are getting resistance?
So resistance or voltage.
You want to have voltage, you should have V is equal to
Resistance.
I into R.
Yes, sir.
I, you are telling I is fine. You are telling the charges can move. From where you are getting R?
So from the depletion region.
From the depletion region. Very good. See, here what happens is, okay, see here what happens is, when you take P layer, N layer. When you take P layer and N layer, and you have, this is the width of the depletion layer, and we are talking about the first condition, that is equilibrium condition. Equilibrium condition means we have not connected anything. So during this time, what happens? This P layer, it is having holes which are very near, electrons here which are in the which are very near the barrier. So now what happens? Since they become closer and very close across the junction, what happens? This electron will get shifted here. This electron will get shifted. This electron will get shifted. Like this, small amount of current will be flowing through this. Very small amount of current will be flowing through this because of the electrons which are across the terminals of P and N layer, okay, which is across P layer and N layer. Because of that charges, they are going to exchange there will be movement of charges. Okay, so now already we know that this is a separation, or it's a barrier. Separation always develops a resistance. Separation always forms a resistance. I was telling you, P and N, P and N layer, is sandwiched here. Some kind of material will be used to paste these two, no? That will be having resistance. Okay, through this resistance, if the current can pass through, then we have I is passed through R. When I and R is there, it gives V. This V is 0.3 for germanium and 0.7 for silicon. Theoretically, we are telling these values, but practically, it depends. See, in our lab, we have 0.4 volt junction voltage, 0.2 junction voltage, even some are having 0.6 junction voltage. Practically, it depends. But theoretically, we are going to tell this values. So now I think you got to know how actually that 0.3 and 0.7 developed. So here you can see that this is the barrier potential. This is the uh, our energy band diagram. Energy band diagram we are having, and this is V naught, whatever it is being shown. So this V naught means it is the voltage whatever we are going to obtain across this. Take a voltmeter and measure it. When you measure the voltmeter, during that time, what happens is it is going to show the voltage whatever you are having across this depletion layer. So the depletion layer is having this much amount of voltage. See, between the P layer Vp and Vn, you are having this much barrier potential. But when it goes to forward bias condition, the barrier potential is decreased. That means that you can observe the width of this depletion layer is decreased. But when it comes to reverse bias, the width is further increasing. Because of the increase in the width, what happens? The barrier potential is increasing. You can see that in the differences we have observed. The barrier potential in the barrier potential is going to be reduced. How it can be reduced? By applying the battery voltage. So when you apply the battery voltage, it is going to be subtracted from the barrier potential V naught minus Vf. So more and more you are applying the forward voltage, the lesser will be the barrier potential. But here what happens? The barrier potential is going to be added up with the battery potential. So because of that, what happens? The barrier potential is increased. Here it is decreased, and here it is whatever it is having that will be shown. Okay. So after this, we are having the energy band diagram, all those things, so that we can continue in the next class. Okay. So now you can start attending the quiz. The quiz is shared.